Hello, everyone. Zeke, I got my green screen working. Does it look good? Does it work all right?
Yeah, you look good. You look like an owl.
Yeah? An
You look
owl.
like a boffin.
You look very immersed in the
Oh, I
game.
like how when I turn, the wall goes away. I didn't get my green screen set up, Zeke. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, I like you better like that.
Yeah, see.
It's harder to see your face.
Yeah, okay. I was going to beat you to the joke. Let's make fun of another broadcaster before we really start the show,
Okay.
because we love doing that here on Drop Frames. This is from Tim's stream last night. One of my favorite things. Let me pipe you guys some audio here. This is a fantastic video.
Parry, push, block.
If you haven't seen it.
Push, block, parry, push, block.
Nice. Nice work.
My chair, bro.
That's it. That's the video. Congratulations, Tim. That's what you get for having a DX racer.
Hell yeah.
Oh, that was good times. I don't even know when that happened, but I saw it
Last
on
night,
Twitter.
last
It
night.
happened last night.
Yeah.
That's pretty good stuff. That's
What's funny is I got a text from him, and all it said was, "Hey man, my chair broke. What chair do you have so I can grab one?" And because we had talked about this before, and I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, my DX race that I used to use, it broke. The wheel kept popping out, which is what happened to him.
yeah.
And so his wheel popped out, and that thing weighs like 600 pounds. So he just, and Tim's like, Tim's a big guy too, so that thing just toppled over. It was
Yep.
game over.
Yeah. I've broken many a chairs by the wheels. The wheels are usually the first thing to go because that's like the big point of weight.
The weak link.
Yeah, on those chairs. So did you tell him you're using the Embody, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Herman Miller. Oh, it's the-
I almost
it's
bought the
fun.
Embody. I'm using the steel case Leap right now.
I also a good brand I've heard. So
Yeah, they're pretty
mine
good.
just looks like a space.
Yours looks like you spent a lot of money on a chair. Mine looks like the shittiest office chair in the world, but it's perfect.
It's great, yeah.
Zeke's probably sitting on a box, right?
I'm sitting on the office chair 2000
Oh,
that I took from the tax place downstairs. And also, since I'm actually sitting at a desk now, which I gotta tell you, why didn't anybody tell me this? How much better this was?
Because you
Sitting on a couch.
look, we knew that you wanted to be as man versus game as possible. So you sat up on the couch.
No, that is incorrect.
You sat up on the couch like he does.
That is incorrect. You know
Okay.
why I sat on a couch?
Why is that?
Because there was no other room for anything else in my shitty, tiny apartment. Anybody who's been there can tell you, like, if I put a desk in there, it would like be the floor is lava all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be walking on furniture.
Gotcha. Are you
if I
still
had
in
a desk my
your
apartment.
the transition home? I forgot how long you said you're in this.
that sounds like a
Until-
halfway house.
It's what it really is, but
It's sort of, well, it's just my interim. It's like an efficiency apartment above like a tax preparer's place. They don't use it for 8 months out of the year. They only use it from January until like late April, and then they're
right.
done with.
They
the
just cram
building.
a shit ton of accountants in there that just smoke a shit ton and do taxes.
Well, I don't smoke a shit ton. You can't smoke indoors for
Oh.
any business
Oh.
in Montana
Well,
anymore. But
There
They
you go.
abide
Yes.
by that.
pretty much, and so I'm staying here until like the home, the actual house that I'm moving into is the current squatters are evicted. Like we're looking at like we're probably gonna have to evict them physically. Like get the
Jesus.
sheriffs to go
Nice.
in there, take their stuff
You should-
out of the house and put it on the street.
You should ask to be put up in full riot gear and then film it as you're evicting them from your own house.
Periscope that shit.
Periscope it. Next level live streaming experience. You should
Film
do
it
it.
as a prank.
Yeah.
It's just a prank, dude.
Just a prank, bro.
Yeah.
These
Did you
freaking
see those
camera
YouTubers got in trouble this past week for doing the there was some prank they did that was like actually illegal and they ended up
Good.
getting in really bad trouble from
And
that?
then they uploaded the video to pay for the legal fees as it hits.
Well, it was already, yeah, the video has already been there for like a year, but I guess the
Prank
court case finally came through.
actually gone wrong this time.
Exactly.
For real.
Exactly. Well, cool. I think, Co, you're using a DX Racer, right?
I am.
It's only a matter of time. Although I don't know. Me and Tim, bigger guys, destroy those chairs in months. I don't know if you will or not.
I've had mine for over a year.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah,
done
he's
fine.
getting up there.
He's getting up there.
It's getting a little old. I mean, it's almost time for a new chair, and
Yeah.
I'm it's not like, hey, I'm gonna get another DX Racer. It's like, hey, I wonder what other chairs are out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Oh.
should get one that has like lumbar support, back padding, padding in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what the Leap has. They have all
Overall
that.
padding.
I spent like, I think I've said this before, but I spent like a month like going to stupidly overpriced furniture stores because that's the only place that have like all the steel case and Herman Miller stuff, and just sitting in like 30 different chairs to see which one I liked. So I'd advise you to
Give
do
it a
that.
minute. Did you give it a minute for your butt memory to reset?
Yeah. 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 No, it was very professional testing, Zeke. All right.
Okay.
Even the
Somebody
furniture
there
guy
with a
said, now you
sign.
need to wait a minute before you sit back down in this particular chair, sir. And I go, oh, why is that? And he goes, well, you got to let the butt padding get worked out. Just
See,
like you
I've
said.
never sat in any chair, and I've tested a few.
You've never sat in a chair?
Never sat in
You've never sat,
I've
man.
never sat in a chair ever, and I will not start now.
You should see him on airplanes. It's like a bus. He just holds on to 2 luggage racks in the back.
He's like, oh,
While
God.
he has 2 stewardesses trying to force him into a chair, and he goes, "I will not sit in a chair."
You should see me
We're
in a
gonna
movie
have to call the
theater.
police.
There you go.
You should see me in a movie theater. It's really creepy because I'm the guy just standing in the aisle.
You're the guy
Like,
that, like
a foot from someone. So they're always doing like this.
Yep.
yeah.
Dropping popcorn on their head. Oh, sorry.
Jesus
no, I've
Christ.
never sat in a chair that I was like, oh man, this is it. This is the chair. They're all like, all right, this one's a cushy. This one's got a little bit more of this. I've never sat in one that like felt like home unless it was a fucking lazy boy.
Mm.
Like a big.
I
huge-
almost went that
that's what
route.
I'm gonna make a big green lazy boy.
So you could just key it out.
Fuck yeah.
The problem with keyed out like anything like is it looks great in a video, but as soon as you're like out of that element and you're like walking into that room for something, you're like, what the fuck have I done here? My whole like guest bedroom has green bed sheets from ceiling to floor. It's a green room, and I'm like, great when I'm filming, but then I look at it, I'm like, this room is completely useless. You can't bring people in here. Like,
Yeah.
it looks like a hobo lives here.
That's true. That's true. These are the live and times of streamers everywhere right now.
It's tough. It's tough.
Well, I'm always like I'm sure streamers of all stripes are a little bit like when people come over to their house and they look and they're like, "What do you do here?"
No, yeah,
Exactly.
I had that exactly. We had the owner of the house sent a handyman over because it rained last night and the water decided to come through the front door, so he came over to like seal it back up. But across from the front door, like 10 feet across, I have my entire setup here with 2 giant lights looking down on the computer, and he's like, "What do you do exactly?" I'm like, "Look, man, just fix the door. All right, let's not have this conversation.
Yep.
Let's not talk about it."
My office is on the corner of my house,
Mm.
right next to where people park, and I frequently have my window open.
Yeah.
So anytime someone comes by to do work, to drop something off or anything, they usually are greeted with me screaming
Yeah.
as they walk up to, and I cannot tell you how many people have just been like, "Hey, are you okay in there?
Yeah.
Is everything all right? Do I need to like?" And one other guy, at one point I was raging during my Dark Souls playthrough, and the UPS guy came, who's been pretty cool. Like me and him are, like on first name basis. He's a cool guy. And he opens the door and I'm sitting there like, I'm like stressed, I'm breathing. I just died to a boss like for the 20th time. And he goes, "Dude, do you want me to like go get you anything? Do you like a coffee or something? Like, are you okay?
Did you
Is
say
everything all right
yes?
today?" And I was like, "Oh, dude, I'm just playing this game." And he's like, "Aren't games supposed to be fun?" And I was just like,
You
yeah.
just said a mouthful, pal.
Yeah. No. He doesn't know. He doesn't know at all.
Yeah, that's the problem, man. It's the window open. We got the cops called on us the first night we moved into our house in LA like 3 years ago. Me,
You're
Goldie,
screaming?
and T. Martin. Yeah, we got the cops called on us
Well,
for domestic abuse.
I
'cause
mean,
we were
you-
playing League drunk, and it was just like, I'm gonna fucking murder him. And it's just like, ooh.
I mean, if you think about it, when I think of the 3 loudest or the 2 loudest streamers, really, I've never actually seen T. Martin. Is he pretty loud?
No, he's actually normally quiet, but we were all.
He's the
drunk.
foil to you and Gold Glove then, because
He
you
is.
guys are probably the 2 loudest people I know on
What?
Twitch.
Have you ever watched me, Tim, and Spoon stream?
No, Spoon actually does not know what talking is. He just yells. He just constantly yells,
Yeah,
nonstop.
yeah.
So you're right. You're right.
He has trouble controlling the volume of his voice.
Exactly. 100%. That's correct.
I have just a real quick funny thing about that. I was testing out my DM chops for Dungeons and Dragons way back, like this is like 10 years ago.
Okay.
And I was in my actually it was long ago than that. like 15 years ago, and I'm sitting in my apartment, the cops get called because, the cop comes to the door, and we have like when we did D&D back in the day, like we would have like a table with candles and like shit like that, like lights would be like blow, like set the atmosphere
like a
and
seance.
shit. Uber nerds. So he had opened the door and he saw like this table filled with candles and like me and this dude, and he was like, "Do you mind if I check around? Because someone said that you'll never get away, you'll never escape, and you're gonna kill them." That's what someone on the street heard. So do you mind if I check in here to see if anybody's like trapped or anything? Like, no, be my guest. Please come on in.
Right.
You got to be careful, man. You got to be careful.
Yeah.
So there you go. We're going to talk about what we've been playing first, kind of switching it up a little bit, and then we'll go into some actual discussion after the first break. So I want to talk about a game that me and Zeke have not played, but I know Jericho and Co have, and I want to start with this because we're going to go from the bottom and build up to the good games.
God damn it.
So let's talk about Homefront.
No.
I heard nothing but like bad about
I've
that.
heard nothing but, just the worst things about this game.
So I got approved for my refund yesterday night for the first time that I have ever purchased a game and refunded it, and I bought Brink. So
I bought
think
Brink
that
too.
Yeah, I think that speaks volumes about the level of gameplay that we're talking about here.
Yeah.
You played single player, right? Because I only played the multiplayer, like co-op, whatever the hell.
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
I think
imagine your worst game, like the game that you're like, this game sucked. Halo Master Chief Collection levels of like non-working, but then just apply that to every aspect of what makes a game, like graphics or good cutscenes or voice acting. I saw Dan's game sit through a cutscene where everybody was T-pose. And I'm just like, well, this is immersive.
What?
Like, how does this get through QA testing?
Yeah, it was bugged.
Okay.
Yeah, but it happened multiple times. They'd just be T-posed, like enemies would be floating or something.
What?
Dude, okay. So,
What was that?
sorry, dude, that was my cat.
Yeah,
walking
I was
across the
like,
soundboard.
is your cat finally playing?
I was going to represent my opinion via a lyrical rap.
Yeah, I was
Okay,
like,
no,
what's
okay.
about to happen
So-
right now?
Yeah, drop it. No,
Okay.
all right. So,
No, wait. Going back to what is, okay, for those of us who don't know, because I don't know, what's a T-pose?
T-pose is a
yeah.
default pose that a model makes before animations take over.
Okay.
It's whenever you see a character with their arms spread out completely and usually with their legs straight down and their arms out.
Gotcha.
That's how models are generally made before they're put into any kind of animated stance.
Yeah.
So if you're playing a game and you see a T-pose, that generally means there's an animation error or something is not picking up properly.
Gotcha.
It happens a lot in like Fallout games when you reload and save really fast back to back. All the characters will do this and then just snap to their like waiting position. But anyway, okay. So Homefront. I played Homefront for 2 hours and I got to a point where like the game told me what I needed to do next, and I instantly became an old man. And I just went, you know what? I've done this too many times. I'm not doing like this is my limit. I've officially hit my limit in bad, boring game mechanics. I am not going to continue from this point. Homefront is and the reason that Homefront gets me so triggered, to put it bluntly, Homefront is a perfect example of a 100% reskin cash grab. The game is supposed to be really amped. It's supposed to have this story behind it. But at the end of the day, like I played it for 2 hours and there were so many things about the game that just irked me, that bugged me, that I couldn't keep playing. And then it got to the point where it was like, okay, here is a zone. In this zone, you have lots of repeating little things that you walk up and you hit one button to do an event. And then that raises an arbitrary meter. And when that maxes, then an event is triggered and you do that. Just like in Far Cry, hundreds of times before, just like in all these games, it's the same exact generic gameplay mechanic,
But it
just
does it badly.
reskinned for Homefront, and it drives me crazy that this is now the standard of AAA games. It's like this is we just came from Far Cry Primal.
Is this a
and we just
AAA
came
game?
over- and then we come over to this game. Do what?
You'd
This is a AAA
say this is a AAA game?
Yeah.
Well, okay. I say it's a AAA game. I mean, it's like a big promoted title. It's a
Gotcha,
title
okay.
by a somewhat big developer that they're trying to kind of, push as one of the next things. It's by no means AAA. No,
Right.
that was probably a bad term.
Did you play the original one, the first one?
No, I didn't.
So
And-
I logged a lot of hours in the first one because they had something that almost no other game had at that time on console, 16v16 multiplayer. So a bunch of YouTubers, we'd all get into a bunch of like big Xbox Live parties, and we would just fuck around, and it wasn't half bad. Like I have videos up on my channel from whenever it was launched. It wasn't that bad, but it wasn't good either. Single player was pretty blah. So like I expected nothing from this game, and I got disappointed.
It took things away from you.
Exactly.
Here's this
big
is
problem,
multiplayer
like,
right
for
here.
me, and the thing that made me so angry about this is it's just like this is where gaming is right now. This is the state of gaming, is where it is advantageous for companies to not make any interesting new mechanics, just rehash the same stuff that is done before in their own universe.
Oh my God, that character model.
Like there was by the time I got to that point where it was like, okay, to continue the main story, you need to run around and do all these generic events in this little map area, and then you can progress. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do this again. I got through 2 hours of Far Cry Primal, and there were some interesting things in Far Cry Primal. It had some cool little gimmick things, but it wasn't enough to carry me through the game.
Same here.
And Homefront, like there weren't even those. Like that, for instance, there at 2 hours to the game, I had not had a single name for an evil character. There was no person to hate. There was no face. There was just the amorphous North Korea or Norks.
Well, that
some horrible name for him.
That's the plot of the game, right? Is that?
Oh, I know. Don't get me wrong.
No, I'm just asking.
Like Norks.
Yeah, it was terrible. But like in a lot of games, they want to make that emotional attachment with the player. They want to put the carrot on the stick for the player. Either a friendly character they want to help, or an interesting story element they want to uncover, or an evil that they want to take down. And from 2 hours into the game, I had not met any characters I wanted to help. In fact, every character I'd met at that point wanted to kill or torture me that was friendly, except a few named ones. There was no evil of any kind. And I think what they did was there was a character, and this is slightly spoilerish if you plan on playing it.
You're not, and you should not.
Yeah.
And spoil it. Ruin the game.
Okay. There's a character at the beginning of the game that I think is from the other Homefronts. Like his name is, I think, Ben, like something. He seems to be a defined character. And at the beginning of the game, something happens to him. And I think that the designers wanted you to want to rescue him. But for me, I had no idea who this guy was. So I was like, oh, random John just got stolen. Why do I give a shit? Because I don't, and it's like, and it never gave me a reason to. And it's really annoying to think that, like, with as much work that went into this game, the level, like, there are some redeeming qualities.
No.
The graphics are somewhat decent.
No.
The level design, for instance, Jericho, did you like run around the world? Like, it's not
I was happy with how many buildings were enterable and how many different places you could fight. I'm pretty sure in about 5 minutes in the video that JP has up, there's a building that we're in that has a staircase that leads into the floor in the second floor, and then a continuing staircase that goes nowhere. So you can't get out of the building unless you jump off the roof. So okay.
Is the gunplay any good, or is it just trash?
It's horrible. There is not a redeeming.
No.
All right, watch this right here. Watch what happens. I'm gonna die, then Brennan's gonna die, and watch the death animation of him.
Okay.
After he dies in like 2 minutes. But the fact is that this game on my 32 gig of RAM Titan X computer on low graphics got 78 frames. Everything was set to low. How can you play this game on any other rig?
I heard the port was pretty bad.
Actually, to touch on something that was just said in chat, Aurelian said, I'm surprised, with how much it looks like Dying Light, which I really loved that he hated this. It's funny, Aurelian, because this game has a crafting system like Dying Light. Like, you get adhesive and igniters, and you can combine them and stuff. But one of the things that I loved about Dying Light, the parkour system, like how fluid it felt just moving around the world. This game's the opposite. Like, if you walk up to like a ledge, and if you aren't perfectly perpendicular with it, and you try to pull yourself onto it, you'll just jump and bump into it.
You have to
Like-
negotiate with it. You're like,
Exactly. It's like a
Jump on
discussion.
you now.
It's like, I'd like to enter you. Is that okay? Can I jump up? Can I go through you, doorway? Is
Can
this
I be
okay?
on top of you?
Let me back up a little bit. Can I go a little slower? Oh, no. Oh, wrong angle. I'm sorry. Well, let me position. All that fun exploring stuff that Dying Light had, where it was just fun to run around and pick up stuff.
Right.
It's devoid in this game.
Oh, man.
Like it's not enjoyable to go around that. And also, let's not even start talking about the FOV issues on the PC. Like that's
I
whole
love
next
65 FOV. What are you talking
that the
about?
max?
Oh my god, dude!
Watch-
Yeah, again, there's
watch
just so
this.
many
Watch.
things wrong
Whoa.
about this game. The fact that it made it to this point, and it's the it's like a successor of a relatively successful game that people somewhat liked. You know, it's big. It was highly promoted. It had all this hype behind it, and it's this.
Yeah, they did a lot of sponsored streams for this, if I recall correctly. Like,
Yep.
They
I
did.
think
They
Amazon
brought in a
Games
lot of
did a bunch
streamers.
with Nerd Fusion. Yeah.
They contacted me about it, and they were like, hey man, you know, would you like to hang out and play Homefront? And I was like, hey, I didn't mind the first one. I think I'm gonna pass on this one though. Just like I'm not interested. And they
Yeah.
asked me from 3 different, like, you know, they hit up like a different promoter, and then they asked me directly, and I was like, I want nothing to do with this. This sounds horrible.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
then I watched the stream, and I'm like, this looks pretty bad.
It
Like the game.
it is for me, having, I guess, the last like big game that I've played is Uncharted. It's really hard to watch these animations, man. Like,
Yeah.
it looks really. But granted, anything kind of looks really bad against the Uncharted animations. But I don't know. I don't know what I'll say.
I made money off of my live stream and money off of the video that's going up today, which is just literally a highlight of the live stream of just how bad the
things.
game is.
Oh.
And I still requested a refund because I felt robbed either way. I'm going to make money, and I wanted money back. I was like, this is still not worth it. I paid for this. Like, I need this to be erased
What's
from
the-
my
that's
Steam.
kind of
For
an
Steam
interesting-
games, as long as you what is it about Steam games you can get a refund on? As
Yeah,
long as
that's
you
what I
don't
was about to
2 hours.
ask.
at all, because I haven't played my PC version. Like, I think that I've never ever gotten a refund for a game.
Yeah, this was my first.
I think this might be my first. Like,
Yeah.
I feel bad knowing that they got money for this product. Is that
Yeah.
bad to say? That feels
No,
bad.
that's
to say.
what I just
I
said.
mean, it feels bad to say, but it might be true. But I don't know. From what I could see, it didn't look any. It looked like a call of like if
I
you
feel
put
like
this
a parent.
yeah.
I don't want to encourage this behavior. I don't want these guys to think that this kind of thing is something that's okay.
Right. So you're making that argument by not giving the money. That makes sense.
It's unacceptable to me to put myself in like my video game loving shoes when I would buy 3 games a year. Like 3 games a year was how much money I basically could make to buy those games. Somebody out there was like, I'm on the hype train. I'm going to buy this game. I'm going to buy the DLC, the season pass, $80. I'm going to
Jesus.
purchase this. He's going to go home, unwrap this, and throw up everywhere. And he's going to think to himself, there goes like 4 months of entertainment. Like, that poor kid. This shouldn't happen.
Yeah. The publisher is Deep Silver. Do you guys know the dev team? Like, are they an experienced team?
I think I heard this was their first game that they had made.
Oh, okay.
Wait, Deep Silver?
Deep Silver, the publishers of Saints Row, Metro, Dead Island 2, Risen, Saints Row, Get Out of Hell, like Metro 2033, Sacred
Well,
3.
did they publish or develop?
They published. I don't think they developed it. I can actually
Okay.
tell you the dev team is Dam Buster Studios, who have also made nothing. They were founded in 2014, so this is their first game.
So this is their first game, yeah.
Yeah.
So poor guys. I hope that doesn't. I truly and sincerely hope it was like we ran out of budget. They won't give us more. They're rushing us on an unrealistic deadline. This is what we had to do. You know, I hope that's the case and not like we tried.
Yeah, they're the third Deep Silver in-house development team following Volition and Fish Labs Entertainment. Volition, I think, those are the Saints Row people, yeah? I think so.
Yes, Deep Silver. Yeah.
No, Volition is. Yeah,
Oh,
Volition
But
made...
if it's an in-house dev team, that means that it could have see. It's kind of hard to when things are in-house. I mean, those could have been people from all sorts of
everyone.
projects. We have no idea. What the
Yeah, you're
experience
right.
is
You're
like
right.
with the team.
For sure.
So
So
Yeah.
all
Needless to
around.
say, it's surprised that it made it through QA with as many. I mean, there's
They
so
didn't
many
have QA.
glaring issues.
Okay.
It's I'm
It
yeah.
didn't have QA.
I really it and apart going back to what I said earlier about feeling bad about it. It's not that I feel like the people that made the decisions to push the game probably had nothing to do with the development.
Oh,
And
yeah,
it's like
probably.
those are the people I don't. But the part that
Right.
sucks about a situation like this is it's like there's devs that poured their heart and soul into this project. It's just
Somebody-
they didn't have the leadership or variables set to make it a good game. But
Right.
how we need to be able to like I want to pay those guys,
Right.
but I want to like take money from the other guys.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's Homefront. Don't buy it. Zeke, I want to get you involved in the conversation because you played a game that I told you to play, and I think
Yes,
you really
I
liked
did.
it. I think you were a big fan. Talk to me about Steven's sausage.
There's ups and downs with this.
Yeah?
Steven's sausage roll
The actual name of the game.
is Steven's sausage roll.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey.
Now, we'll talk about the good. The good of this game is that it's an extremely unique puzzle game. The object of the game is to get these sausages cooked on both sides one time evenly. See, I burned it. You can't cook them twice. So that's the object of the game, is to cook sausage rolls evenly on both sides. And see those little grill things? Those are grills.
Yes.
So you cook them. So you got to roll the sausage onto the grill.
Yes.
Now,
Now, how long did you spend
you're a
on this
guy
level?
with what looks like just the head of a trident.
Mm-hmm.
And you push. All you can do is push. You can't skewer it, pick it up, move it. No, you can just push things.
You can also backtrack as well.
Yes, yeah, you can press B to go back one step in the middle of your game.
Yeah.
Now, this seems like a very simple puzzle, but it took me.
It took you about 45 minutes.
Like 45 minutes.
I
yes.
watched you for 45 minutes do this puzzle. I don't know why, but I was
My
watching.
thinking face is just like, oh my god. And now, playing puzzle games on Twitch is a bad idea. We all know that
Yep.
because everybody in chat, every single person in the entire fucking known multiverse knows the answer to the puzzle before you do.
Oh, not
And
only that,
they're not ashamed to tell you how stupid you are for not knowing how to do it.
they're experts. They play in pro leagues. They're in the pro league sausage circuit.
Yeah,
I mean,
dude.
it's
No, puzzle games are the absolute worst to
Yeah.
play. And this is no different because people were just flooding my chat with like, oh my God, I got it. No, you're doing it. Oh my God, he's so close. I hate it. But I will say this. It is one of the most unique puzzle games I've ever played. The absolute worst part of this game, I don't know, I think I got it. Did I? Yep, this is me getting the solution.
Yeah.
Yay!
45 minutes
45
later.
minutes to get that fucking sausage cooked.
I have to ask, did it have the feeling of a good puzzle game where you were like, fuck yeah, I got that puzzle, or were you just like, fuck, I have to, this is this game?
Dude, it's like you could it's a brain buster for sure.
Okay.
That was the third puzzle.
Third puzzle in the game, and I think I read someone said in your chat there's 210 and there's
Sausages.
There's what?
I think they said there's 210 sausages that need cooking.
Oh,
some puzzles
okay.
have 2, some have 3, so on and so forth.
So
What
probably
an odd
like
metric to give you info for.
yeah.
Like not how many levels, just the amount of sausages.
That's what someone said. I have no idea.
Yeah. And
But it is really I can tell this game would get exceedingly tough. Now, here's the worst part.
Right,
that
I know where you're going now.
I guess I don't understand why, because I've never seen a game like this cost $30.
yeah. It's $30.
Yeah.
Was this let me see if this was kickstarted or anything.
Oh my
hold on. Now hold on. To be fair though, how many puzzles are there?
I
Are
need
we
to try to
talking
figure that
is this
out.
like a 20+ hour game if you beginning to end it? Or are we
I don't
I'm
know.
sure. I'm absolutely positive you could spend
I don't want to
tons
judge.
of hours on it, but does that justify it?
Yeah, I can make 400 million levels for like wood. There's a game that I love playing that's like literally a wood block moving sim where you just try and rearrange the shit so it fits. That has like 1,000 levels. I paid 99 cents for that. So like,
Well, I don't know. It's about value, in my opinion. Like, if you can add enough value to a game where, you know, the levels are interesting and keep you engaged, and there's enough variance, and, you know, I totally see where you're coming from, Jericho. And there's
Yeah.
tons of phone games like that. But in most of those cases, it's just the same shit over and over and over and over more difficult. But I mean, if you really kind of spent the time developing the game as it continued to get harder and went into more levels, like, maybe that's justifiable.
that
But-
no, look at chat. 70 cents a sausage. You could buy real sausages for that. You could think, look, I'm gonna buy myself this game, or I'm gonna feed myself for like, you know, the next month.
No,
There's
Tino's has it right though. If it's 40 plus hours for the normal person, that's like 2 weeks of a full-time job for me.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if you're spending hundreds and hundreds of hours on something, especially if you enjoy all of it, like that, I'm sure to some it. This is where it really comes down to perspective, and the perspective of more importantly the player. Because to some people, I bet this game will be worth $100. If you love this game and you dump 200 hours into it to solve every puzzle, I mean, 50 cents an hour? Who's ever going to argue with that kind of value if you're having fun every hour? But at the
Yeah.
same point, I mean, you know, if it's just, again, if it's the same shit over and over, like that's when it's a problem. Has anyone in chat actually beaten this game?
I'm
Like,
reading
do we know?
I'm reading a Destructoid review. He doesn't list how long it is, but they gave it an editor's choice 10 out of 10. Like, this guy said it's one of the hardest puzzles game he's ever played, though it never seems unfair. He said that there is a ton of content here, so anyone taken aback by the price should not be worried. Despite the dozen of hours poured in, I always felt as if I was progressing and learning something new. Like, he just gushes over this game, this particular review.
Well, I mean, that's for sure. But like, okay, well, like a mobile game, like what is that? Take the game where you take the red block out of the thing. Like it's move the blocks and you take the red block out. Now I understand. Now I know it's
Holy
simplifying, like really simplifying things. But that's what I'm saying. If you like puzzle games,
I just think my qualm. It's not even a qualm. It's just like I'll pay whatever I pay for like a game that I enjoy. It's just like a high entry price, you know. It's quite the sticker shock when you see gameplay of it, but there very well may be content for that, you know, for that much. I was like, oh, that's not what I expected.
Zeke, you want me to blow your mind?
Yeah, blow my mind.
This is a later level in the game.
All right, see that now that we see this is great.
That's what I'm talking about.
You move the sausages out from underneath them and you roll them around.
That looks like a fucking nightmare.
See, and think how long in man hours it took to design something like that. That's not only going to take hours for you to complete, but is probably going to be, you know, some kind of crazy thing where you're done. You're like, oh, you know, like if you had a whole bunch of those kind of levels, maybe it is worth $30. You know, if it's just going to be like that, level after level after level.
We're trying to judge a game based off of like 4 levels that we've seen.
Yeah. The first 4 levels of the game, yeah.
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like the first 4 levels took me 4 hours or took me 2 hours to do.
Sure.
Now, Zeke, real quick though, I don't think we've talked about this. Are you going back to the game? How much fun did you have while you played it?
Yeah, that's a good question.
And that's the other thing. The fun factor for me personally, and I don't mind puzzle games. For me, the fun factor, it wasn't there for me. And looking at the later level that you just showed me, that honestly, it looked like after being a week sick from school and you have homework and that's your pile of homework that you have to do.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like to me. I was like, oh, fuck, I got to get this done. Oh, God. You know, on it. I mean, like, I don't know, man. It just, that's the main question of a game. How much fun did you have playing it? I would say, meh. It was,
did any of you...
I understand why people really like it because it's super hard and it's very like unique.
Yeah.
But the fun factor, like, good question, wasn't there for me.
Did any of you finish The Witness? Because I kind of think this and The Witness are somewhat in the same vein.
Oh, wait, was that the weird screen puzzle game?
Yes, Jonathan Blow's latest entry into the video game world.
I was disappointed with that game.
Really? Yeah. I know people that, like, once they found that there were other things going on than just those puzzles in the game, like, they were, like, just blown away by that game. I never played it because I'm like Zeke, where a puzzle game loses interest very quickly.
What game did you say?
The Witness,
Witness?
by Jonathan Blow.
The one with the line puzzles.
Where you're
That
on,
one, that one is good for smoking weed. Honestly, that one's good.
That's the guy that doesn't smoke weed.
Like, all right. No, trust me. And I know, like, that's exactly what I thought when I first played it. I was like, you know what I would do? I would get done with my broadcast of the day, go smoke a bowl, and come play Witness for hours. Lines.
how much? But The Witness was 40, right?
The Witness was pretty expensive.
Yeah.
I just didn't like how it felt very one dimensional for me. Like it
was
felt
40.
like
Yeah.
it felt like the whole world was built around like little tiny micro. Well, see, for me, it was kind of bad because I had my expectations like way pumped up before it. Like people were telling me, "Oh, it's the next Myst," and "Hey, did you like Riven? You'll like Witness," and all this stuff. So I was going and expecting like a hardcore environmental puzzle game where you walk into an area and the first thing you do is just look around and try to figure out what the puzzle is,
without
let alone
spoiling,
how to solve it.
without
So then when I got
too
to the
much,
Witness and it was just like panels everywhere, I was just like,
I think what you're looking for actually
like
happens.
a mobile game, like Jericho was talking about.
Yeah, I think what you're looking for, actually happens in that game, but not till much later on.
Now I got like 6 or 7 hours into it, and I certainly got to some parts where like the environment would add to the puzzles happening. You'd have to like adjust water levels, there was reflection stuff, and there was the big beams that were connecting that would open more doors and things.
Yeah,
but all of those revolved around the line puzzles. They were additional elements to the line. The line puzzles were the foundational element,
right?
And then they were just kind of like tacked on little challenges to the line puzzles.
Right.
That's kind of what rubbed me the wrong way.
Now look how deceptively easy this puzzle looks.
Oh Lord, here we go.
Oh yeah, no, I saw you do this.
The sausages are cooked, but you have to get your little guy with his trident. You have to get him exactly in that position. So you have to figure out how can I end up with my trident facing east? Because you can't back in there, because if you turn, you'll burn the sausage or you'll put it in the drink.
Yeah.
And that kind of shit. So it's like, oh, this puzzle looks easy. And then you get done, you're like, fuck.
Yeah. I saw you like load into this puzzle and you're like, oh, this is really easy. And you did exactly that, like to the fucking T. So
that's great.
Yeah. If you think you're like super smart and you love puzzle games, like I would definitely recommend it because it hurts mentally. Like you're like, oh God, how do I roll this without burning? But I can't. And
yeah. So that's Steven's sausage roll. $30 on Steam. Is it only available?
Oh, and here was my solution. I was like, okay, check this out. Oh, not that. Oh, never mind. I was gonna. You see where that sausage is? Like that's on the far left.
Yeah.
I tried to back into the goal. I was like, oh, this is how you do it. I could back into the goal, push the thing off, but before it hit the water, I would win. Nope.
Jesus.
That looks ridiculous. I could never play this game, but I think for people that are like super into puzzle games, this is definitely, from what I've read and what Zeke has talked about and what I've seen him play, like this is a pretty good puzzle game. Is it only PC, by the way, that you know of?
That I know of, yeah.
I don't know if you could ever port this with the current control scheme to like a mobile thing. It would be very interesting.
And also, look for it if you're gonna look for it on Steam. It's Steven with a PH.
Yeah, not with a V. With a PH.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't know. I can't find this game, JP.
Yeah.
I can't find it. I don't know what's going on. Steven PH.
Now, we talked about Uncharted 4 a little bit last week, but I was the only one doing it. We didn't have that much time. I know Coh's finished it. Zeke, did you finish it last night?
What?
Uncharted 4.
I didn't finish it, no. I think I've got like 5 chapters left.
Shit. Okay. Jericho, have you played it at all?
I actually haven't played any Uncharted's.
Really?
Yeah, just one of those things that like looks really cool. It's like Tomb Raider. It's sure it's a great game. I know it is. I don't know. I haven't gotten around to it yet. I'm sure I will at some point.
Now, is that mostly because you prefer like multiplayer stuff?
Yeah. I'm a big multiplayer guy, and the fact that it's a PS4 exclusive, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm just sitting on my PC right now, just doing everything on my PC. So
Can
I
we
have
not
a
talk
PS4.
about exclusives, please?
Yeah, Co had a thing with exclusive last week. Let's not mention
Oh
it.
no, okay, fine. We'll
I
back off your trigger point.
I
Co-
hate exclusives.
Yeah, Co went off last
Exclusives
week.
deny gaming content to real gamers, regardless of platform.
This is
Exclusives
your
need
fault.
to burn.
This is
And
your
fire.
fault.
Everyone who makes them needs to be fired from the industry.
You did
Anyway,
this, Jericho. This is your
What'd
fault.
you say?
This is your fault that he's going
I'm
off.
sorry.
today.
Sorry, I'm done.
Good. Get it out of your system.
I mean, let's talk about Uncharted
party.
4 without spoiling stuff. I guess is the best way to do that. Because if we talk about it next week, it's going to be too late. What chapter are you on, Zeke? Do you know? Just tell me where you're at in the story. What area are you in the story?
I am.
Have you done the big car chase?
Oh yeah,
That's probably the best part of the game, action-wise.
that was fucking amazing.
And it's kind
JP, is that what you were talking about last week?
yes, dude. That's better than the train sequence for me. Like even the fact that I had seen that because that's what they showed at E3 last year for their Uncharted sequence at the Sony conference. They showed that sequence and then later released a longer version where he goes across the bridge. But like seeing it and playing that is like completely different. That was a fucking incredible moment. I think. Zeke, did you enjoy that as well? Sounded like you did
Yes.
from your reaction.
No, I loved it. I loved like almost every part of this game. Is almost like it's almost immaculate. The only thing I might like have a complaint about, like, and it's not even a complaint. It's
No,
just
it's probably
lots of cutscenes, like tons and tons, like, and they're really, really well done. And they're really good cutscenes. Don't get me wrong, but there's just
right.
so goddamn many of them.
Yeah.
It's like play the game for an hour and then watch a movie for 15 minutes. Play the game for half an hour, then watch a movie for another 20 minutes.
Sure.
Which you kind of understand going into it, but I mean it doesn't make it any less like tedious sometimes.
My biggest issues with the game is that I had to play it. Like the gunplay stuff is good, but it's like I've played 3 Uncharteds before this, right? The only thing they added into that was the rope where you could rope and like swing and stuff like Indiana Jones type shit, which is honestly, that was a lot of fun to do, but the gunplay was exactly the same as it was in all the other games.
It was the worst part of the game, man.
It was the worst part of the game. But
I
for
turned
me,
on auto aim and never looked back.
I turned on auto aim
fact-
the entire game.
I turned on auto aim, and then it was hilarious because for the rest of the playthrough, I just didn't act like it was on, and I got half of my chat to back me up on it.
Yeah, so
I
people
would
come
be
in-
like, I'd be like, hey, check this shit out, and I'd look at a wall, and then I'd just be like, turn around and be like, boom, headshot, turn around and be like, yeah, I'm thinking about going pro.
Yeah. I used the sniper
And half
rifle.
the chat would
It
be
was
like,
great.
what? That was crazy. And the rest of my subs would be like, yeah, and he turned auto aim off, and I'd be like,
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I haven't had auto aim on at all. In fact, the first 8 hours of the game, I played without using a gun at all.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. I heard you were going melee only in your
Yep.
gameplay. Yeah.
I'd run.
This
I just
is,
run into people and just like slide across and kick them and do like Superman punches and like
Yeah.
all that kind of shit. And there was one part in the game, like towards the end of my first 8 hour session, where it got really, really frustrating. And then I got through it. But when that was over, I said, "All right, we're gonna come back tomorrow and fuck melee forever."
Yeah.
Or not forever, but
That's a
fuck it.
pretty hard way to play the game. for
Yeah,
sure.
no, it was really difficult, but I gotta tell you, man, I think there's a few times when it was way better than shooting.
Oh, 100%.
More satisfying. I got through the level probably a lot quicker than I would have,
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff. But this fucking scene,
This is the scene. This is the beginning of it. I don't want to show the whole thing because if you're going to play it, like this goes on and goes places and it's like, it is, you are playing like a fucking amazing action movie, basically.
this scene is when you really understand what a director in a video game can accomplish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you watch something like this scene and you're going, I have seen major movies with less care of angles, of depth, of like it's there were a few parts of that, especially when it's spinning around. And
Yeah.
and I don't want to spoil it, but when the camera's spinning around and things are really picking up behind where your character is, where I seriously, it was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. This is the kind of stuff that is just this is why AAA games will always have a place.
Yeah, because they can
for
do
stuff
shit
like
like
this.
this. Yeah.
Oh, you total dick.
What?
I can't believe it. I spent like 3 tries trying to move that fucking bus or like anything.
Oh
on the
no!
side.
Like Nate was just
You
like,
were
we
just
got to go
"Man,
around.
back up, turn around.
Yeah, Nate was like, we got to turn around. I was like, okay, let's turn around.
He said it. I didn't even hear him say it.
Yeah,
Fuck.
yeah. I think, or either him or Sully did that. Like, there's a lot of the driving portion before this, where you're just driving around in Madagascar. I would actually just go the wrong way to hear the characters talk about nonsense. Because, like, for me, that was the other high point of the game, was that the conversations that the character had were so well voice acted. It felt
Insanely
like
organic as well.
Yeah, it felt like it was really Nathan Drake and Sully having a conversation. It didn't feel like it was two voice actors canning it.
At one point, I was it was in actually Africa, the same place we were talking about. I was driving around a corner and Sully was telling a story, and I accidentally fired my gun.
Yeah.
And Sully stops and he goes, "Whoa, Drake, what are you shooting at? There's nothing around."
Yep.
And then a second goes by and he goes, "You done? Okay, well, I'm going to continue."
Yep.
And then he picked up right where he left off. And it was just like, I instantly realized, I was like, that was all just a situation I created by accident. Like, if I had not accidentally fired my gun, none of that would have happened.
Yeah.
And there's so much of that in that game. So much of it.
The other thing, too, that I thought was really funny, and I've watched a lot of streams of this because I really enjoyed the shit out of this game, but every time I could think, like, Marcus, DJ Wheat's a great example to watch his stream for this, is they'll come up on they'll come over a hill or something, right? And you'll see this gorgeous, like, amazing landscape scene, and Marcus will go, "Holy shit, that's beautiful." And then someone in game will go, "Wow, this is a really great view," or some shit like that. Like, even Naughty Dog knew what I don't know if they like listened in on focus test and then just put that into the game after the fact to like reinforce how good their art design is.
Well,
but they did it every fucking time.
And not only that, but with dialogue as well. Like I'm not like trying to toot my own horn or anything, but I've been doing, comedy for a long time.
Right.
And I'm sitting there like listening to dialogue and I'm like, and they'll say something like, and then they'll say it, and I'm like, fuck, man, they got, oh shit. Like, you can call the jokes, like, it's great.
Yeah.
Like, their timing, they're
really good.
Sense of humor is just fantastic.
They're really good, for sure. I'm going to stop showing the cutscene here because this is where it starts to get pretty fucking crazy and it picks up even more. But yeah, we were talking about the dialogue. The scenes with, even the first scene with Elena that we were talking about last week, like just that scene of them sitting down in the room and just talking to one another, like those are the best points or best parts of the game for me, because I haven't played a game, and there's multiple scenes where they do that, where it just goes from like crazy fucking action to just like real conversation.
Where this is a dialogue element.
Yeah, where like their face is telling you everything.
Hear Drake say something, and she will respond just with her face.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it's almost more impactful than anything she could.
It is, and this is like one of the only games that's done that. So it makes me like so excited to see what's going to happen in the next couple of years as we like as people try to catch up to Naughty Dog, because really they're so fucking far ahead of the game when it comes to that shit. There's moments we talked about last week as well where the motion capture of like 4 characters is so good when they're standing in an element that you can see or notice that they're in a green room, and the environment behind them does not look anywhere near as good as the characters do graphically. And it's actually like kind of jarring a little bit. That's later on in the game in some of the jungle scenes. But yeah.
Someone brought up a good point as far as dialogue in the environment. Like, I was lucky enough to have Julia, who speaks, Italian. She is Italian.
Yeah.
And we were walking through it's towards the beginning of the game, but walking in that auction. That black market auction.
Oh yeah, that was an awesome scene, dude.
And I was walking past waiters, and I would stop, and they would speak to each other, and she would come and have like, they're talking about the football match. They can't believe the goalie sucks so bad, and stuff like that. So I was
great.
like having her translate. I would walk into conversations, and be like, this guy was asking the other guy, this character that doesn't have a name or doesn't mean shit. Like, he was asking the other guy about his dad that's in the hospital, and like that kind of shit. Was like, wow.
Yeah. That's good. That's good.
Oh, you know what, guys? I have a question for you. So I actually have a stream coming up in a couple days. It's a Naughty Dog sponsored thing for the Uncharted 4 multiplayer. I've been saving playing it specifically so I can kind of see it all on stream. Have any of you guys played the multiplayer yet? I've heard good things, but
I played the multiplayer beta. Uncharted's always had like Like, you wouldn't think that a game like Uncharted would have a good multiplayer, but it's pretty solid. Like, I know Golden Boy, Twitch staffer and Shoutcaster is playing a lot, and they actually have like full ranks. Like, he said that he was doing like a rank match for Diamond 1, which I guess is kind of the equivalent of like the top tier of Uncharted 4. So like, it seems like they have a pretty robust system involved in that multiplayer, and it's not just a throwaway, hey, our game has multiplayer checkbox. So
Good.
I think we'll check in with you next week for what your thoughts on it. But yeah, as far as I know, it's pretty good. The other thing too is that you get to choose like your taunts, and the taunts are like as well animated as anything else in the game, motion capped, and so they're like really good. And they're like really stupid dances.
The list on those, yeah.
Yeah,
And
they're just like really stupid
damn
gifs.
good. Like totally mo-capped and everything, just down to the wire.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool because you can kill someone and then just like fucking do some stupid dance. I don't know what the dance moves are called.
Like
but
in your favorite game, Doom, which I heard is your game
Call
of the year.
of Duty, man.
Yeah, or Call of Duty. That's true. But none of the animations look that good. We'll talk about Doom first. I want to talk about a game that I want to shit on because I fucking hate this game so much. But I played I played like 8 hours of it this week.
Talking about Doom?
No, because there's nothing else to play. Guys, I played Battleborn
Why did you do that to yourself?
for like 8 hours because there's nothing else I want to play, and my friends were playing it.
Was it your first 8 hours, JP?
What do you mean?
What was it the first time you'd played the game?
Yes, I never played the game prior to this week.
Okay, so I very much want to know what you thought about this.
The thing is I can't say Battleborn is a good way or a good game on any level, but I could say that Battleborn.
No redeeming qualities, none.
I could say that Battleborn in 6 months could possibly be a good game. Like, they have so much stuff in.
No redeeming qualities.
Like, they have so much stuff in here that's like, that's kind of cool, but you fucked it up because this is so bad. Like, if you just watch the gameplay for a second, look at all the fucking visual vomit on the screen that you can't even see what's going on.
That's exactly what people say about Overwatch when they first see it.
Or
this is
Dota or League or any other large scale game.
maybe like this actually obstructs your like. There was a game, and this is a perfect example right here. You can't really see what's going on, but there's a game where this I forget the character's name. I don't know. He's like a lucha libre wrestler guy, and he'll jump in, and when he jumps in, like, I guess it's supposed to be part of his character. Like, shit flies up, right? And like in a big fight, there's 10 characters. All of them have these crazy fucking visual effects going on. And this guy is so fucking small that he's just running through and meleeing the shit out of everyone, and no one can shoot him because you can't see him. Like, he's just fucking destroying everyone, and no one can see him at all. And the other reason...
He's like
Sounds
Odd
like
Job.
Tracer.
He's like Odd Job back in the GoldenEye days.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. A little bit. A little bit. But like... And then the reason that he's so strong is because in the game, there's no shop, right? You can't go... Not everyone has the same shop, I guess is the best way to put it. You can't go and say, all right, I'm going to go buy 6 ironwood branches, or all right, I'm going to go buy whatever you buy in League of Legends. I haven't played that game in so long. You get items from boxes that are loot boxes, right? And these loot boxes are all randomized. There's no standardized item. And then you can apply these items, 3 each, to a loadout that then you can buy in-game with the currency. But these items, once again, are not standardized. And they also have like rarity to them. So like common, epic, or common, uncommon, epic, legendary. So someone could have 3 legendary items that are just like unfucking believable, that just do insane shit. And someone else that just got the game like I did could have none because you don't unlock it till level 3. And so you're just immediately, no matter what you do, you'll never be as strong as that other character.
Can I just start? All right, so do you know what else has a game or has a system like that? Is Paragon, right?
Right.
Like that game also has a similar system. I thought you meant that like your items, you went back and you just got a random item. The game was like, make it work, dude. Like that's what I thought. But so I actually haven't played, but I've watched and it seems very interesting. I disagree with you on the visual vomit. There's like, I watched a Dota 2 match for the first time with my friend like a year ago or a year and a half ago when I was like deep into League. And I was like, what the fuck is happening here? There's so much shit going on. And then after 3 games, I was like, I understand it's not bad at all.
Right.
Like this gives me the same vibe. But that aside, I always did hate the fact that you just by playing more would be at a statistical advantage to a person that is just starting up. And I'm, unless it's like a league or a Dota where you do have these items that are very much available to everybody at all levels, you get like almost like a Call of Duty system. But even then, the best of the guns in COD and the worst of the guns in COD really weren't that big of a difference. I mean, levels.
These are pretty strong. These are like 20% faster, whatever. But let me take a second to shit on Chad and more importantly, Total Biscuit. The reason that I maybe don't understand this, there's no fucking tutorial in the entire game. At all. Anywhere. How are you supposed to fucking know anything without someone fucking telling you this shit? Like, this is one of the most complicated games when it comes to MOBAs, and there's nothing telling you that shit. So then again, another fucking problem of this terrible game. Like, I tried so hard to like this game.
Okay, I will. Okay, this is where I'm just gonna chime in, and I can completely understand what you're talking about, JP. And it's not because there's too much like information on the screen. It's because, well, for me, the reason why this game like visually turns me off is the same reason why sometimes Borderlands visually turns me off, because all the colors are fucking like neon.
Right.
And they're just so like there's no blend to them.
Yeah.
Like, just one neon color after another, and I hear what you're saying when you're saying it's like visual vomit.
Right.
Like it's
and again,
like,
to make another statement, to say that people are thinking I was bad at this game, the first time I played, I went 23-8 or 23-3 or some shit like that. Sounds pretty
miserable to me.
Like, it was not. I understood what was going on 100%.
The reason behind the bright visuals is because you need differentiation in the colors. Otherwise, if somebody uses I don't know if they have it in this game, but if somebody uses their ultimate ability or even just
they have ultimates, yeah.
All right, you need to be able to, as a player, recognize what ability that is, what it's going to do to you, and react to it accordingly. And if it's this color of fucking grass, you're going to be pissed off that somebody hit you with like a snare that you couldn't see because it's the color of the grass. Like, it has to be absurdly, bright. Like, that's what
I get that. I put in 8 hours, and towards the end of it, I started to kind of like what you guys were saying, like filter out the just vomit of shit on the screen and understand somewhat what was going on. But I can't recommend this game to people for a full $60 product. Like, I got my code for free, and if I would have bought it, I would have been upset. 100%. This mode right here, there's 3 modes in the game. I've only played 2 of them because apparently the other one's really awful, which is called Capture, which is kind of like a land grab point. So TB and all of them didn't queue for that. This is called, I forgot what this one's called. This is basically your from what most people are saying, this is the most MOBA equivalent, but everything's funneled down to one checkpoint. So it's 30 minutes of just going back and forth where you have to kill these shields on these. If you look at the top, you see like these 4, now there's only 3 because we've killed theirs. These 3 robots, and you have to like take their shields down and then kill them. And then that progresses you onto the next tier, and it's doing that twice basically. But it just becomes this giant, at our level of the game, which is not that high, obviously. But we were still ranked against level 90 players with a cap of 100, I think. So that's pretty good matchmaking. We just kind of had a stalemate here, then it lasted until the very final seconds of a 30-minute match.
A lot like the Overwatch game mode that's just capture the king of the hill kind of deal, because that's literally just a clusterfuck.
Yeah. Then the other one that we were saying earlier was where you feed in minions to kind of, I guess, quote unquote, sacrifice them and build up points up to a 500 cap or something like that, which I think is probably my preferred game mode. But I don't know, man. Like, I can't recommend this game right now. Like, there's so many things that they need to fix. There's an issue, and this is only, from what I can tell, it's only with G-Sync monitors, but it will, after a couple games, the FPS just starts dropping to 30 and then going back up to 120 and then dropping back to 30 and then just going back. Like, it just does that nonstop. So that was super frustrating because I had to restart like every other game.
Well, and you see the totals there, like the total screen just have like you were the top.
Yeah.
You got the most kills.
But like, and then this thing is like, it's 50 to 79, but those numbers are like, those things don't even mean anything because it could either be.
It's just 50 to 79. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, like there was games where you'd win 100-0, but the game was all 30 minutes and it was super close. But it's like, that doesn't really tell anything. The UI is a complete clusterfuck. There's so many things on the screen. If I go over the statistics here, you'll see. I don't know if I do though, but it gives you like, whereas Overwatch doesn't, this gives you too much information.
I feel like you can't compare this game to Overwatch.
You
just
can't,
with
not at all. But it's the
batting
easiest
out
thing to
of its
compare.
league there.
That's another conversation completely. I
Yeah.
think.
Overwatch is just it would be better off to compare this to Paragon, which
Yeah,
I did
yeah.
not like. So
I haven't played Paragon yet. I was not a
Paragon
fan.
is like Smite. So
Yeah.
you can kind of like follow the chain.
sure.
Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
sure. The other interesting thing is that when I played this on Friday or Saturday night, something like that, at like 1 a.m. in the morning, there was 4,000 people in the entirety of this game, according to Steam Stats or whatever website it was. Borderlands 2 had more people playing it than this game did playing it. Borderlands 2 had like 6 grand. Just,
Borderlands 2 has a healthy modding community.
but this game came out a week ago. And it had 4,000 people.
I can't even
online
play. I mean, I
playing it.
can't play. You're right. There was 1,500 people playing Homefront, so like clearly there's people that make poor decisions all over the place here.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
like,
Here's another thing that's annoying. When you buy the game, there's 25 characters, or there's 20x characters in the game, but you only have access to like 6 of them at the very beginning.
oh,
And you get them not by buying them.
What was that? Oh.
because like I hate that. That's what League does, and you're just like, fuck. Like I don't want to spend $800 to get these things. And
Yeah,
play for the
yeah.
next 6 years of my life, indentured servitude.
Exactly. So
Get this.
I think Strippin hit 40. Like you can do like quests or whatever, which aren't really, they're not quests, but you can do certain criteria to unlock a certain hero in the game. Or you can just hit certain levels and then they'll unlock that way. But it's just like to hit level 40 is finally just to unlock everything unless you do the certain quest. It's just fucking annoying. Like just give me all the characters at once. I understand they're trying to make sure that the character is not overloaded with like, I have so many choices, but I don't know. I just wasn't into it. And I played a lot of it. So I would hope that I understood the game at some fundamental level to say that. But that's Battleborn. Don't buy it. Wait 6 months and hope they fix it. Because it seems like there's enough to warrant a good game there, but it's just not there yet.
I've heard a lot of people talk about Battleborn. That is by far the most scathing review I have ever heard of it. Like by far. I mean,
There's just
I
a
don't
lot of
know,
things
man.
wrong with it.
Like it sounds like you just hated it.
I mean, I enjoyed it because I was playing. The thing is
No,
games
you
are always,
didn't. It sounds like you hated it.
games are always fun with your friends, right? I did not solo queue in this game the entire time I was playing it because I knew that I would just be in like Overwatch, a game that's not fun when you're solo queuing, but it's bearable. I can actually play
Bullshit,
it.
man. I like it when I'm playing solo queue.
I actually solo queue.
You guys need to learn to have fun with like random people in the
No,
internet.
it's
That's your
it's a
problem.
worse. Let's say it's a worse experience than playing with friends in Overwatch.
If you're gonna try and win, then yes.
Yes. Yeah.
But if you're trying to have fun, yeah.
Yeah. So that's Battleborn. Let's talk about Doom. Has everyone played Doom? Zeke, did you check out Doom?
Nope.
Do you want to check out Doom?
Eh.
What about it turns you off? We'll start with that.
Not turns me off. It just nothing really turned me on, I guess.
Okay. Okay.
It's like I liked Doom and I like all the iterations of Doom back in the day, but like I don't know, it's not something that really tugs at me because, well, I mean, honestly, is there a really really awesome story in it?
It's pretty damn cool.
Is it?
The music's amazing.
Well, the music, but like,
I feel
like the narrative, is it good?
Well, I mean, it's Doom.
It's a Doom narrative.
Basically the Doom narrative is, like it's a segmented backbone that they kind of alter in all the different Doom games to be somewhat, the same. But I mean, the story, you don't play Doom for the story. That being said,
Right.
the story wasn't bad. Like there was some interesting stuff that happened. The ending caught me by surprise, surprisingly. It was cool. And as someone who likes lore, I was very much coming into rooms and there was like videos playing and there was like things to look at and kind of, that you wouldn't have to, you could just run through the room. I find myself reading all those, watching all the videos. Like, am I getting that mixed up with Doom 3? I might be. But anyway, there's some good lore in it. Some people hated the ending. I didn't. I thought it was cool. Like,
well, all I'm saying is like I played the Dooms and I liked them just fine. Like I had no complaint about them. but it's not something that I'm like itching to play. Like I'll you know, I might pick it up eventually, but it's not like, you know, something like for me to like be really like hype about something like this, it would have to have like a really cool like narrative or you know, some other elements besides cool guns and cool creatures.
If you've played the other Doom games, you pretty much know what's happening.
Yeah.
And you're not, and playing this game is not going to change that. But there are certainly nuances that this game makes that the other Doom games I've played haven't. And I played most of Doom 1. I haven't played Doom 2. But and there's some really cool ways they go about it. That kind of took me by surprise. But you know, again, like I would recommend playing it. If nothing else for the gameplay. It's 80% gameplay. But the gameplay is fantastic. I had a great time.
You do realize it's an FPS, and you do realize you're talking to me.
Is that good or bad?
That's terrible. Fucking terrible.
Insinuating that he's terrible. I played it on Nightmare, and it was relatively challenging. I died a good amount of times, but there's no question that there's a lot of weapons that you can use that aren't like totally dependent on aiming. And there's modes you can get into where it's just like you're running around just punching shit in the face for 30 seconds at a time.
I can get behind that.
So I guess that's a good thing to tell Zeke is like one of the core mechanics of the game is that a mob or an enemy that you're fighting will like flash blue or red. And when they do that, you go up and melee them to get HP back. And the melees are like, they're pretty harsh. Like you're ripping someone's head off or like taking their fucking tooth and like shoving it back into their stomach.
It's like Mortal Kombat fatalities in first person.
Yeah. And there's that's like you do that like a bajillion times.
Okay. I mean, I can get behind that. That's cool. It's just, when I heard Doom was being made again, I went, oh, that's neat. I might pick it up. Doom has never like grabbed me by the cojones. Like, whereas like, you know, there are other FPS games that have, you know, great control that, you know, have also a great storyline, like the first two Halos.
Right. And the other thing too is I didn't like think about, and granted, I didn't play all the Dooms like Cohh just did, but it didn't occur to me that like when you played Doom as a kid, what you were actually doing is seeing what was in the room and then like tactically reacting to what was in there and then choosing your weapons and then like breaking down like I'm going to do this to this guy and then do this to this guy, then back up and fight that guy. Like this game promotes that almost to a science where like you'll walk into a room and you'll see everything in front of you and know exactly what guns need to go where and where you need to get to and that you need to go get this armor eventually. And then over there's health if you ever need it and stuff like that. And I found myself like going about the different kill rooms, I guess you could say, that way. I don't know
the arenas.
The arenas,
That's exactly what I do. I'd get to an area and I would stop and I'd pan around the whole thing and be like, okay, there's the double damage. There's the health that I'm going to need. There's the armor I need if I need it. Like I did the exact same thing. You did Nightmare too, didn't you, JP?
I did Nightmare. I only played it for like 2 hours because my issue with the game is the gameplay is awesome, but I felt like once I did like 2 or 3 rooms, I had done everything that game was going to give me, and I didn't play for more than 2 hours, so maybe that's a completely terrible opinion to have. But like I don't have any interest going back and finishing it at this point. But I totally understand people that really enjoyed what was going on.
That's kind of how I felt about Doom 3 and why I did not buy this game. Although I did watch Cohh play it and I watched Bunny play it, mostly multiplayer though, which looked pretty good. Looked like solid Doom multiplayer. I'm kind of in the same boat as Zeke. Like, cool. It's a new Doom. It's got great reviews. Great. Unless this game was being lauded as the game of the year, I'm probably not going to go out of my way to buy it. But I will enjoy watching it because I want that experience. But, you know, it didn't draw me enough to get my money.
Yeah. Understandably. Like, ID's in a really interesting position with this IP because it's like, okay, it's Doom. So they need to respect what Doom is, which is, again, just a shooter. You know, it's a classic age-old shooter, one of the first. They have to respect that. So it's like they're almost limited by how much they can innovate. It's kind of a weird position to be in. Like if they take it too far, even if they made like the best game of 2016, it could be so different because of all the stuff they've added that like the classic people are like, this isn't Doom. This sucks. I don't like it because it's not.
Were those people saying that?
The original Doom and it's nothing like the original Doom. You know, so they're in a weird position with that. Yeah, and hold on, I'm looking at chat. ID did make this, right? And Bethesda published it.
Yes, this was
That
the
was
first id published game since
Oh,
Rage.
do
I
people call it
believe.
id instead of ID?
Yeah, it's id software. Yeah.
Yeah, like the id, ego, super
Oh.
ego.
Really?
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
always called it ID. That's hilarious. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is that the surprise of this was that everyone played the multiplayer, or when everyone played the multiplayer back when it had the open beta, aside from it didn't have that good of a reception.
I liked it.
Yeah, really liked it. No one else did for the most part.
I've played multiplayer since release.
You played
for,
a lot of it. I know you did.
hours.
I watched you play a lot of it
Yeah.
because I was trying to figure out why you
enjoy
liked
it,
it so
man.
much. Summit's actually been playing a good amount of it too this week.
Really?
But the single player is like, people were blown away that the single player was as good as it is. I know a lot of people that are like really, they're like trying not to play the game because they want to make it last as long as possible. So some people are like super, super enjoying the game. But
I'm actually thinking about going through on the next difficulty.
is
at
that,
some
I've
point.
heard that's if you die once, the game's over. Is that not
I've
true?
heard that.
That's
I
what
haven't been able
Ella
to
was
confirm it,
saying. Yeah. That
but I
seems
died
kinda
a
hard.
pretty good amount of times.
Damn.
Yeah.
So
Did you
yeah.
get all the secrets?
I unfortunately didn't realize until about the third level that you could upgrade your. Oh, and see that, like, to talk a little bit about the differences in this one. Almost all your weapons have different secondaries you can choose and upgrade. Then those have different levels of upgrades. Your suit has a variety of upgrades that you can put points into. There's secrets that then give you more upgrade points. Like there's a lot of things that make this like not normal Doom, but it's all kind of shoehorned into the normal Doom exterior. But anyway, for me, like I didn't realize until the third map that you could get the upgrades to show all the secrets. But when I did, I started getting everything. I was just like, oh, like every time I'd find an upgrade I didn't know, I would just sit there like scrolling around the map and trying to find the way in. And that made it really fun for me. Like I really enjoyed doing that. I
Yeah.
kind of wish I'd known earlier that was the case, because I missed a bunch of stuff at the beginning. But towards the end of the game, I started doing like 90+%, like getting everything I could.
Yeah.
There's some really cool little Easter eggs you get by doing that.
I saw there was a bunch of like, they go back into like retro graphic rooms.
Dude, you get
That's
into
always
hell.
really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna spoil this for you guys a little bit. You get into hell and you go into this like secret cavern, and there's a power up in front of a pillar.
Uh-huh.
If you go behind the pillar, there's a skeleton that's leaning against the pillar, and it's wearing the helmet from Skyrim. But it's a skeleton.
Nice.
And then if you kind of peek down, there's an arrow sticking out of his knee.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
God.
God damn
Like,
it.
and I
God
sat
damn it. Why'd
there
they have
just
to do
like-
that?
I was just like, you guys did not put this in this fucking game.
Yeah. Yeah, they
Like
should've just left
really,
it at the
like,
helmet.
and it wasn't even. You didn't even have to go there. There was nothing back there but this skeleton, like just leaning against the thing with an arrow in its knee and the Skyrim helmet on, just chilling there.
Cool.
That was amazing.
Um,
The whole time there's screaming metal music like playing while you're looking at this stuff. So, by the way, best music so far of a game in years.
it's pretty
Like,
good.
I was disappointed when I heard you can't get the soundtrack separately, and that's one of the first times I've ever said that about a game.
They do a good job too, at least in the 2 hours of the beginning that I played, of like timing actions in the game to songs or to like things in the song that like resound really or make a good effect. Like
I know what you're saying.
When the
Cueing
int-
the song action bits with like
Yeah.
and the music.
yeah, like the beginning of the game when the big like ensemble music starts playing, it's like super heavy metal, and then he cocks his shotgun and that like ends the song, and then you jump down and start fighting people. I was like, all right, that's pretty cool. Like I'm into that. That's
Dude,
pretty
they
good.
had screaming guitars. They had persistent riffs. They had at one point just grisly, like dirty dubstep. At one point, like I thought my speakers were crackling. Like it was like I was just so
Yeah.
low key. It's like I just kept getting surprised over and over and over by the music. Where
Yeah.
I would just be shooting and killing demons, and I'd be like, "This is awesome!" Like just with all this shit going on behind me and everything, it was really good. Speaking of which, JP, you were right, to put it bluntly, about the fact that it doesn't really get much different as
Yeah,
you move,
okay.
as you keep moving.
But-
But I will say that they do add some interesting demons, and
I've-
they do add demons like almost all the way up until the end. And there's actually boss fights in this one.
Oh,
where
I
you
haven't
have
seen
to,
any
like,
of the
do
boss
different
fights.
things to kill the boss fights. In
Okay.
fact, the last boss fight has triggered many people because on Nightmare, some argue that it's a bit too difficult
Oh.
for like the Doom atmosphere. Like one guy said that he had died like 5 times throughout Doom and then died 30+ times to the boss or something. So
Sounds like a pussy to me. Man.
you know what? That's what I said too. But
Let's find
that
this
being
house
said,
and burn it down.
if anything, that speaks highly about the encounter. Like it's
Yeah,
exactly.
different
yeah.
enough
It's
Yeah,
hard.
so like a normal dude had some trouble with it. It's like excellent, you know. Like I'm
Yeah.
totally. I love the last.
Judging people's like difficulty levels in a lot of games when you play a lot of games is like going to some restaurant and knowing like what their hot sauce level is. So, you know, Wendy's is like, we've got this super spicy meal. You're like, bullshit, not even gonna be tingle worthy. Like, you know, this is made for the masses. This is not made for like a spice master.
Co, a question for you, because you played this game in what, 2 sittings, 3 sittings? How long?
I played it in 2 full day sittings. About maybe
Okay,
3.
so you took what would you say that it's 5 or 6 hours at a time?
About
Did it get, because that was my issue with the game is there's a lot of games where if you do things like Doom where you're going from one arena to the other for the most part, granted that's not exactly 100% true, but doing the same type of gameplay for that long, did it ever start to like not tear you down, but just be like, oh, I got to go do this experience? Like, did you ever have that? Because that's exactly what I got after 3 hours of playing it, and it was late, and I was like, I'm good. I understand what this is.
Not for me, but
Okay.
the main reason was because there literally was a point for me when I was like, I want to keep going to see what new music I can get to. There was a part
Okay.
where when I started finding Easter eggs in the Doom secret levels, I was like, I want to keep playing and see what else they have in store here. The weapon progression is decent, ends a little bit early for my tastes, but it is pretty decent where you keep getting new weapons and you start upgrading them. Also, I kept setting like future goals. Like, all right, I want to max this suit stat and I want to get this gun all the way up and I want to complete these challenges. So for me, a lot of it was kind of a bit introspective. Like I was setting my own progression goals that weren't in the game. And I don't know if I'd not been doing that, I don't know how much drive I really would have kept, because you're right. It is essentially pretty repetitive.
Gotcha.
But on that note, something else I kept doing was I kept like falling back on different guns all the time. So like at first I was using like the charge up shot with the shotgun. Then I switched to the like the backup thing and or the explosive shot, and then I maxed that, and then I got the chain gun and was doing that for a while. So it really kind of it mixed it up enough for me to keep it interesting.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
I never got that kind of dragging feeling.
Yeah.
I love that games do this, by the way. That's so cool when they
The
have
retro
like,
thing?
Like when they actually throw that in. Same with I
They
guess
did it in
was,
Wolfenstein.
Yeah, they did it in Wolfenstein, and I think to the same extent they did it to the Halo remaster, so you could switch between old and new.
That's actually like pretty. Having played I played most of the campaigns on the Master Chief Collection.
Yeah.
Like, that was pretty crazy and jarring when you could just hit one button and it would go from like
It just reminds you.
it would go from current gen graphics to like 10 years ago, and I was like, whoa.
I was just about to bring up talking about that stuff. I don't know if you guys have played the remastered Monkey Island games.
I have not. Do they do the
That's
same
what-
thing?
I don't
Holy
even know what that
shit.
is.
Monkey
You don't know what Monkey
is-
Island, man.
JP is a kid. Don't worry
You
about it.
fucking Call of Duty
it's the-
kids.
Yeah, I know, right? But no, it's the kind of the remastered Monkey Islands. You can press a button, and at any time, it will fade to 4:3 standard
Oh, shit.
pixel graphics from
Wow.
the late 90s.
I think,
and dude, I seriously at one point switched it to the 90s version and just kind of forgot I was playing in that. And
What
then I was
was
like,
the,
oh, shit. Like,
Day of the Tentacle did the same thing.
Yep.
The remaster of that, I think.
I need to play the
And maybe
remastered
Grim Fandango, I think, was. They also had that option.
they did that too on that one.
I think so. I'm not 100% sure. It's made by the
Those are
same
two
devs.
games
So
I
think.
have to play again, man. I never finished Grim Fandango when I was a kid. So.
Yeah, I think
One
I
of those
did.
Goals from childhood. I need to.
Some of those puzzles in that game were just so fucking annoying. They weren't even hard. They were just super fucking annoying. And so I never finished it. So.
All I remember in Grim Fandango is I got to a celebration of some kind, and then I got to a point where I was like, too much shit going on, playing a new game.
Oh.
my young kid self was just like, can't handle all this shit.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember. Zeke, what else did you play on Indie Sunday? Was there any gems besides the hot dog game?
the Steven sausage roll.
Sausage.
I played
Oh yeah, sausage. Sorry, you're right.
left. Oh shit, Left Alone. No. Fuck, was it Left Alone? God damn it.
This game?
Obviously
Hold on,
wasn't
hold on,
back
hold
then.
on. Give me a second. Give me 1 second here.
This one is this helping you bring it back?
Oh, this one. This one was fucking fun. Simple game, and it's exactly what you think it is. The game is called Orion Trail,
Oh, okay. I saw
and
it.
it's Oregon Trail, but in space with
No way.
with like cheesy sci-fi references, like Star Trek, Star Wars references, and like, you know, really tongue-in-cheek humor and stuff like that. This game was really, really fun. Because it's like, you know, they have like little winks to Oregon Trail, like you meet this this creature named Terry, and if your people die at the end, it says you died from dissing Terry.
Okay.
Like shit like
I mean,
that,
that's
like
not bad.
puns.
That's pretty good.
I like it.
I'm just saying, like, puntastic, like, adventure, and it's just choose your own. Like, you get like your crew has skills like a bravado, attack skill, science skill, like that kind of shit, and you use those to like overcome obstacles and that kind of shit. But it's I mean, obviously it's extremely easy to play, and it's, you know, just point and click, and I had a blast. The sense of humor is great, and there's many adventures. Like this is it's not like just one get to the end. It's like get to the end, and then you do the next harder. Like it gets harder. Like you
$10
go from one
on
end to
Steam,
the
by the
other,
way.
you complete it, and then the next adventure you go from one end to the other. It's a little bit harder, so on and so forth.
What was this game called?
Orion Trail.
Yeah, it's
Like the
$10
Bells of
on
Orion.
Steam. Seems
I
pretty
think it's-
appropriately
how much is
priced.
it?
$7.
No,
Something like that.
it's $10.
$10. There you go.
Nice.
I honestly, like, I say it's worth $10. I played it for a couple hours and I had absolute blast.
Nice. Left alone is what chat was saying.
Yes, Left Alone.
Is that this?
Yes.
This dark
That is
screen?
one.
Yeah, this looks great.
Yeah, let me try. Okay, it's all dark. All right.
No,
Cool.
it's that's one of the things. It's fucking really dark because one of the goddamn fucking mechanics of the game is a fucking battery flashlight mechanic.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so it's slender.
A little bit.
Oh, and the battery lasts like 5 minutes, and then you're like hunting and searching around for more batteries.
That reminds me of that Uncharted. Well, okay. There's an Uncharted 4 scene with a flashlight, and it really annoyed the fuck
We
out
have
of
to
me.
shake the control.
You had to shake the fucking controller, and I was like, why the fuck is this? This seems
I
so
hate that
like,
shit, man.
yeah. I was like, is this? Did Sony
Masturbation
just
sim.
put this in here because they wanted to remind you the controller has this? Anyway.
Hey guys, we gotta show off this feature at a board meeting. Can you just like shoehorn that in somewhere?
yeah, it was
Cool?
really bad.
All right, great, thanks.
So Zeke, is this game any good? What's your opinion on it?
Hold on a second.
Is this game Battleborn 2.0?
It totally is. It has a lot of Battleborn.
God, there's
elements.
so much visual clutter on the screen right now.
Let's see. This one was $7.
Oh, okay.
$7. Spoiler alert. It took me about 4 hours to complete it. 4 hours and change.
It's
How
$7.
much was it?
$7.
That's not bad.
It's not too bad.
And it has, like, it's got good atmosphere. It's got, I don't know, man. I don't think I could recommend it, honestly.
Yeah.
How do you guys?
The only reason why I finished it is because I felt like after 3, I was close to the end. I was like,
Oh.
oh, I'm getting close to the end. And I kept going. I was pretty close to the end.
Gotcha.
But honestly, like, it's an idea that I think was not fully realized.
Okay.
Like, it had potential, but I don't think it got like
Gotcha.
it. And I'm without saying anything about the ending, like specifically.
You're trying really really hard not to say this game
What?
sucks.
Out?
I don't want to spoil it, but like, if anybody wants, like, the only thing I could think to say about the ending is, wah wah.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. That's okay. I got you.
You get to it and you're like, wah wah.
I understand. I got you. Jericho, what you were gonna ask us a question? You remember?
No, he answered. I was gonna say, how do you guys end up playing these games that you like play 4 hours and you're like, can't recommend it? Wasn't very.
See, I'm the same. That's why I couldn't play Doom all the way through, because I knew that if I played more of it, I'd be like, I really don't like this game, and I didn't want to deal with that conversation in chat. So I was like, all right.
Well, and to be honest, just because we wouldn't recommend or like a game, it doesn't mean that we don't want to experience the journey of finding that out with the stream. Like,
That's true.
I
Okay.
barely play games off stream, and I got to be honest, some of my favorite streaming experiences have come from horrible games.
That's what
that
Jericho
me
was
and
doing
my
the other
chat
day.
all
yeah.
get together and shit on as a group.
Yeah, I got
Big
drunk
old
last night and played.
Poop waterfall on the game.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and sometimes that can be a lot of fun. Another thing is, there's been some games that I've played that have been like, I don't know if I really like this, but then something happens close to the end or maybe in the middle where it's like, oh, okay, and then you finish it and you're like, all right, it's saved. Like, you know, that something happened that's saved.
It's understandable.
So, you know, like,
Sure.
rare, but it can happen.
I guess, yeah.
Jericho, you've been playing CS:GO? Is there anything? CS:GO and Homefront. Is there anything else?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. I just feel like there's not, with the exception of like Doom, maybe
Yeah.
Battleborn, like there's just not enough. There's not a lot of games that I personally
Exactly.
invested in. You know, Uncharted looks great, sure. I can't get behind it to stream it for 5 hours. So what I've been playing is RuneScape. I've been playing old school RuneScape.
I've seen a lot of people like Witwix, Tim, and Josh.
bandwagon.
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah,
Was
like,
there an
why is
update
everyone
or,
playing
a
this game?
classic server
People
open
were like,
up? Like, what
people were
happened?
like, oh fuck, dude, there's a lot of RuneScape streamers that get a lot of views. We should.
Is that what it was?
100%.
Okay.
But like, I mean, there's a lot of cool characters in that RuneScape community, man. There's a lot of passion, and the chat, the community is kind of funny. So like, I used to play RuneScape in 2007 to like 2011, so I played a lot, and then I just dropped that shit. Recovered my old account from 2011, and then just went into the Wildy and started PKing, and I didn't do too poorly. I did pretty bad, but like, you know, it was a good blast in the past. I miss it. I do. And it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun.
So wait, to be fair, Jericho, you're like an OG RuneScape player. Like you actually
Yeah,
have
I played back when the game was in RS1, when it was like all the wilderness and shit. So I'm not, you know, everybody should be able to experience the game, but like, people come in and like, wow, another fucking streamer playing RuneScape for the first time. And I'm like, well, fuck you, first off, okay? You're wrong. But yeah, it's, I don't know. Nostalgia.
Yeah, like from watching you play this right now, and even a little bit when you were live with it, I could understand that you knew what you were doing, whereas Tim sits there and just like, you know, eats or like talks to a stream which is fine, but I'm just like, is he actually playing RuneScape, or is he just sitting there AFK in RuneScape? I don't know. Yeah. So that's why I was interested to be like, what do you, because I've never seen other streamers do what you're doing here with, I guess, is PvPing, from what I can understand.
Yeah, it's part of the PvP, and I'm not good at it. There's a whole meta game behind it. Like, the character I'm playing on, it has trained 2 stats really high and then no stats at all, so he's like deceptively low level. It's just, like, there's a whole meta game that's gotten a lot more complicated since I stopped playing, so I'm not good anymore. Like, I don't know how to do half the shit, but like, you know, it's like going back to Call of Duty 4, going back to like an older game that you used to play, and you're like, oh, this is really familiar. I like this.
Interesting. I have no interest in RuneScape. When did RuneScape like debut?
07. Well, the first one was like.
Hold on. Did you hear what JP just said?
When did RuneScape debut?
No. He goes, interesting. I have no interest in it.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's funny is I'm so used to him saying stuff like that, I didn't even register.
No,
yeah.
I have words that are the like gap fillers, because I can't just be like, I have no interest in this game. I lead them on like, oh yeah, that's cool. This game fucking is trash.
So I guess chat said first RuneScape was 01. The current RuneScape that you're playing is old school RuneScape, which is 07.
Okay.
And then that went away in like 2020, like 2000. I guess that went away, and then all of a sudden they brought it back in like 2013, due to like a bunch of petitions and shit, and now it's back.
Gotcha. Understandable. I played WoW. I actually played the WoW Legion thing, but I don't want to talk about it because
that's a good example. It's like vanilla WoW.
Yeah.
Everybody got mad at the new update for RuneScape and like vanilla RuneScape, and they put it in. Everybody's like, yay.
Yeah. I think we'll do it like we'll talk about WoW when Tally is on next, whenever that is. Because
smart.
I'd rather have him here, because I will say things that are wrong, and I want him to correct me on that, because I only played it for like 2 hours. Okay, Ko, I think you were trying to fill the void of not having a game to play, and you tried out a shit ton of stuff. We're going to start out with Stellaris. How long 9 hours is what I'm counting on your VODs.
I have about 9 hours of Stellaris under my belt now. Okay. I did, I think, a morning and afternoon stream, and then a little bit of a morning stream. That game is huge.
That's what I've seen.
Woo! If you want to talk about a game that just has hundreds of mechanics to learn, tons of RNG, but at the same time, skill can overweigh a lot of it. Huge amount of options. I mean, it's multiplayer, which people have been loving. Like, Stellaris is massive, and if you are a 4X fan, I highly encourage you to check it out, because I played a lot of 4X games over the last couple years that I'd play for anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour just to try it out. and I would be like, you know what? Either I don't want to stream this, or I streamed it and said this isn't really my thing.
Yeah.
But Stellaris is one of the first games where they have a really good tutorial. They really let you dive in. You can tell the UI is designed to like make it so you can keep everything that you really need to know about on one screen, which is huge for me because I hate having to remember where to go to find shit in games that big.
Right.
And yeah, it's a really great game. And again, if you're it's all in real time. You can pause it if you're single player, but I don't think there's pause in multiplayer. So you can, just kind of take it at your own pace. If you're single player, you can pause it and kind of go around, queue up a whole bunch of stuff, and then watch it all play out. But at the same point, it's in real time. So if you have a fleet of a bunch of ships you designed and all of a sudden an enemy warps in, you can zoom in and watch that whole battle unform, torpedo for torpedo. And sometimes if you set it in normal speed, I mean, these battles will last like, 10 minutes of just ships going ham on each other.
10 minutes of real
really
time,
cool.
but that's like months or weeks or something in game, right?
That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah. There's people right now that I know of that have games that have, that with their speed set up in the game, they're 50+ hour games.
Wow.
Yeah. And there's multiplayer games that I've heard have already lasted over 200 hours.
Holy shit.
Jesus.
How does the
serious
How
game.
does the multiplayer games work? Is there only one? Do you know? Like, is there only one player that needs to be there? Or does everyone have to be connected for it to like play, or what?
I have not done the multiplayer yet. In fact, I was supposed to do a multiplayer event with New Game Plus, my stream team, tomorrow, but I don't. We may be pushing it around, or I may not be in it because the Fallout 4 Far Harbor DLC comes out.
Gotcha.
But anyway, but I believe that everyone needs to be there. You can do verse each other, and I think you can also have AI opponents. I don't believe there's any pausing. And again, I haven't played this yet, so please chat, correct me if I'm wrong if that's not accurate. But I think that you can different people can host, and they make it about as easy as they can given the confines of the game.
Gotcha.
So it looks pretty freaking awesome. I mean, it's.
I know
I've had a lot of
people
fun with it using my own just my single player games. I've had a lot of fun with it. In fact, I'm already planning on starting a new game next time I play it, just because I learned so much from the last time I played. Also, something really cool about this game that's worth mentioning is a lot of people get really what's the word I'm looking for? They get really intimidated when they see games that they know are going to get to a point where you have to do so much stuff that it just gets overwhelming. Where you have to pause the game and spend 30 minutes doing stuff, then you unpause it for a minute and then pause it again in 30 minutes more. This game has some really interesting mechanics that some people hate, but some people love, where you can only directly control 5 planets at once.
Oh.
And then everything else has to be put into sectors that the computer controls for you. So you can sector off 90% of your territory and say, I want you guys to focus on this kind of production, and I want you guys to give this percent back to me. And then it just autopilots it. So you can focus on your fleets and, moving stuff around and exploring and doing all this other stuff. So it's interesting. Some people love the sector system. Some people absolutely hate it. The micromanagers absolutely hate it, because it does kind of force you to use it at times.
Right.
But for people like me, where I was like, I kind of just want to focus on the bigger picture, it was awesome.
Yeah.
So, and I'm still learning how to utilize them properly.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have been loving that game. One of the things that I saw when I was looking at Battleborn's numbers that one evening was that Stellaris was in the top 10 with 60 or 40,000 people playing it. It's done really well.
Dude, with numbers, I've had multiple 10K plus viewer streams with Stellaris.
Yeah, people really seem to enjoy it.
A day before I had a 10K Stellaris stream, I had a significantly less RimWorld stream, which is generally a big stream that I do. There's a huge amount, and not only that, not only are there a lot of people that want to watch Stellaris, the community on Twitch for Stellaris is one of the better ones I've seen in my streaming career. Extremely helpful, just barrage you with useful tips. A lot of discussion between the best way to do stuff, but everyone kind of came to the conclusion that it's more how you want to do it instead of which way is the best way. I was really surprised by the Twitch community for Stellaris. Big shout out to you guys if you're Stellaris members. Yeah,
that's always good to hear.
Impressive.
That's always good to hear. How do we talk about this particular game? Because everyone knows what this is.
Okay.
Everyone's bought it.
I've been on a little window. Okay, so here's the deal. And I got this question a lot during the stream. Why are you playing DayZ?
Right.
And the short answer is because DayZ is an old game. When I first got my computer from Intel last year, one of the first things I did, because I'd been sort of playing DayZ on and off at the time, is I installed DayZ. I ran DayZ on my Beast rig, got 15 to 19 frames per second.
Yep.
Shut it off and was done. I
Yep.
was like, this game is still shit. It's been in development for years. It's never going to get better. I'm done. So then, a couple weeks ago, I was watching my buddy Sacriel, who is a very experienced DayZ player. And he's one of those guys that, edits his INI and he gets the FPS up and he knows exactly how to get around all the bugs. And I was watching him and I was going, you know what? This looks a lot smoother than I remember. Like a lot smoother, like weirdly smoother. And I hung around a little bit, and turns out there was this big update called 0.6. And I was like, okay, we'll download it and check it out again. I shit you not. It's like a different game now.
No, it's not.
I have every single, hold on. Now let me finish, Jericho.
Okay, go.
Cannot finish. Cannot finish.
I have every option turned up to max, and I get between 80 and 120 frames per second.
That's what Lyric's been telling
Now,
me.
here comes the part where Jericho should have let me finish. Unfortunately, they didn't fix anything else.
Yeah, none of the bugs have
So
been fixed.
every single bug that was in the game is still in the game.
Yeah.
I still died jumping off a stairway that was 3 feet high, and fell onto the ground. You still get the weird running animation bugs. Don't get me wrong. All the bugs are still there. But for me personally, a big reason I stopped playing the game was because of the absolutely horrible performance.
Yeah.
And damned if we don't give credit where it's due, they have finally gotten to this game to a point where it was always above 60 frames per second for me. The very few times it dropped was if I was in a very heavy city area, and by drop I mean 45.
Which was your
also a big thing for me.
That was your max
was
before.
DayZ
Yeah.
always had mouse lag. So it's like you'd try to aim your mouse and it would always be like half a second behind where you're trying to go. That's gone too. So credit where it's due. The engine has come huge distances and the mouse lag is pretty much non-existent. But there's a reason that I only played it for one stream and I'm pretty much done with it until the next update.
What's
Is
that?
because for all that other shit and the stuff that
Oh.
Jericho immediately jumped on completely, as he should, as everyone should, because it's a 3+ year old game now that has bugs that it had months, years ago.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you are even a slight DayZ fan, I recommend checking out 0.6. You will be pleasantly surprised. And if you're a Sacriel level player where you know how to get around 80% of the bugs, you'll probably appreciate going back to it.
Yeah, I can echo that. I mean, it didn't get me to re-download the game. It really didn't.
I re-downloaded it, but I haven't played.
It was optimized about as poorly as you could possibly have. It was all basically CPU reliant. You could have a Titan X, doesn't matter. You're getting 20 FPS.
Well, it was server reliant.
Server reliant.
Yeah, the server had to be high enough FPS, and you could only go as fast as the server could basically run. Is what the issue was.
As people are pointing out, I did drink my axe at one point.
That's always good.
That's always good.
Yeah.
Literally lifted my axe through my head, drank it, and it disappeared out of my inventory, and I got hydrated.
Yeah.
At this point in time, I played enough of it to get the gist of it, and it just sucks because the game itself, since it was the first big, game, open world, game like this of its kind that everybody jumped on and really liked, it deserves some credit, but I'd be lying to you if I said that the buggy mess that is H1Z1 is not more fun and more reliable in every way, shape, or form than DayZ. Now I know that they're inherently different games.
Yeah, that's what I was about to bring up.
Different but similar.
They are different but
they
similar.
all started out in this kind of similar idea. So I really want DayZ to be good because I really enjoyed the time that I spent playing it. It's just so bad still after 4 years.
Yeah, that's what
Let's be
it's
totally
really
honest. This update that just happened should have happened within 6 months of its release as a standalone.
Yeah.
All of this awesome stuff I'm talking about.
You're wearing a welding mask.
Oh yeah. There's tons of new items and stuff. They also redid the inventory screen, which
Yeah.
is some people like and some people actually hate. A lot of the DayZ vets I met said they don't like the new inventory screen. Go figure. But yeah, this is the kind of thing where the development cycle for this game is still years behind. Everything that's cool, like for instance, what you're about to see. I went to the beach. You can pick up a stone. You can then craft a knife. You can then use that knife to do all sorts of things with. It's clearly making progress, but it's just the amount of progress it makes and the time it takes that it's doing it is just it's impressively slow. It's like,
Well,
what the hell do you
it's-
guys do all day?
It's
slow?
impressively
A lot of
slow
times.
for how much money they've made from this game. Like, it
Yeah.
still is in the top 10 Steam sales 3 years after it's launched. And
Yeah,
they
why?
did just have a big Arma 3. Or wait, you don't even need Arma 3 to run this. Sorry, that was
No, it's
yeah,
standalone.
that's
Totally
standalone now.
standalone now.
It's been standalone for 3 years, but yeah,
Yeah.
or 2 years or whatever.
Yep.
But yeah,
$28 a pop.
It's kind of crazy. Like, that's the one thing that I'm just like, do I really want to jump back into DayZ? And part of me remembers like how fun and stupid certain things was, but that's because I don't remember a lot of the bugs. So
Just, if Gold Glove's not streaming it daily, it's not fixed enough for me. Like
he was streaming it
loves
last
this
night. I
game.
saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, he loves the game, but he's not Sacriel, so he's not gonna go great lengths to fix it so it's good enough.
Well,
So
Sacriel doesn't mind sitting inside of a tree for 6 hours to get a kill.
right, I know. That's why I'm
That's
saying.
what he does.
He,
yeah.
he does some ridiculously cool stuff.
He does,
But also,
yeah.
a couple of things to mention about the game, though. DayZ right now, huge opportunity for new streamers. The ratio to viewers to followers right now is off the charts with it.
Yeah.
But a big reason that is because they have a limited amount of servers that are running 0.6, and almost every one of them is full all the time.
That's the other thing.
So it can sometimes take you an hour to
Yeah.
get into one of these 0.6 servers.
That's
and
what I had
even
read.
people with macros and stuff, it can take 15 and half an hour to get into a server. And then if you crash or if the server goes down, which they do every 3 hours to reset the items, it's just like,
Oh,
it's
how
it's
is that? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Look at this. Look at this fine combat system. Yeah,
See, but the best part is like,
Oh, wait,
Co's
this is how we
laughing
did-
because he's talking to him. The guy's probably saying something real fucking hilarious because these people that play this game are actually insane.
just like the
we had
people who
some
play
fun.
Rust and shit. Like
Yeah.
that's 80% of the reason you're playing. DayZ.
Exact, 100%. Yeah,
Not even.
You-
not
you
even
are right.
half. It's more than that.
you are right.
That's absolutely right, man. That's absolutely right. I mean, that's why you played it. I mean, hell, one of the best moments we had when I played DayZ was me and my buddy Jukebox Guy found a guy, and we did kidney surgery on him over about 5 minutes. We put him out. He was in a nurse outfit. I was wearing a doctor. We made an incision. We stitched it up with rope. We stuffed him with canned peaches. It was a complete success.
Nice.
Interesting.
Pretty
That's
sure it's how you do it
DayZ.
in our-
I have no interest in this game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting. I have no interest.
I actually have some interest in DayZ, but I don't know if I'm
Never
gonna
played a
get
second, not a single second.
you. You never play a single second.
Nope.
But it's, dude, I mean, I played enough DayZ to know how to get around some of the bugs.
Yeah.
And those bugs that I learned how to get around years ago, I was still getting around when I played last. So
Yep.
it's just kind of like,
That's
and some of those bugs are like game stopping. Like if you don't know how to get around them, your gun will never fire again. Or
Yeah,
you
I
will
don't-
not be able to pick up items. And it's just like, and considering about the servers going down all the time, it's just like,
I don't
yeah.
know if I'm gonna get
it's
bored
rough still
enough.
for new players. It's very rough.
I don't know if I'm gonna get bored enough between now and Tuesday to play
You're not.
DayZ, but I might.
Don't bother.
We'll
There's
see.
a big download too. Don't
It's
bother.
it's like 2 gigs or something.
Oh, is it?
Code.
But Jericho, the viewers.
But think of the viewers.
You played RuneScape for God's sake.
Bandwagon.
I
I
don't.
think
Does,
it is a good stream game.
it is a
you
good
do
stream game, but is it getting good numbers? Because like when we brought it up, the entire chat just moaned and groaned. But maybe that's not the audience.
The people that
they
are
always do. Fuck the
queuing for
chat.
servers or trying to get in are watching, and the Sacriels, the people who like
Yeah.
are DayZ through and through, are they're going back and checking out the patch and stuff. Granted, the viewership has gone down pretty significantly since the patch's release. It's
Yeah.
spiked super high for a while, and it's been kind of tapering off since. And these days, it's good. I mean, it's decent, but it's by no means like a new release level or anything.
All
They
right.
aren't Hold on. So it's like they're not critically panning this game like they did with Battleborn. This game's shit for what it is right now.
It's
And
because
still
the
fun,
the
but,
thing
like,
is that DayZ's been out for 3 years, and unless you've never been on the internet before, then you should know what
Yeah.
DayZ is.
Yeah,
you know what you're getting into by now.
Yeah, exactly. This horse has been driven into the ground like
100%.
20 times. by now. In fact, I
100%.
think we've talked about DayZ on this show.
We have.
like a year ago with all the same commentary.
Probably.
So yeah,
'Cause
yeah,
it hasn't changed. And
It hasn't really changed from the bugs and all that stuff. It hasn't really changed. Performance is better. You can get to the bugs quicker and with a
80
better
FPS.
frame rate.
Woo.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of stuff.
We do need to take a break, but I want to talk a little bit about a game that I played on the PS4 and it's found its way to the PC, and that is Salt and Sanctuary. I think a lot of people were waiting on the PC release. So, Code, does it play well? Are there any bugs? Like how is it?
It's fun. I didn't crash once. Of course, frame rate wasn't an issue. It's a 2D platformer. I played it like all morning at the beginning of the afternoon stream. It's a pretty tough game. I was kind of surprised. I played a Thief all morning, and I felt like it was kind of underpowered. And
Yeah,
couldn't
why
find
do you
any
always
weapons.
start Thief or some sort of Mage Thief? Because it's always really hard.
I like to try to be somewhat different. Almost everyone goes for the warrior or
Right,
the
or the-
mage,
yeah,
you know,
okay.
or stuff like that. So I wanted to do something a little bit different. But it turned out like it was a little like it's tough. Like
Yeah.
the thief that I played had a really low reach, and you know, it wasn't doing a lot of damage, was getting his ass beat. So this morning, or when I came back for the afternoon, I was like, hey, I'll try a warrior, 2-in warrior, right? Let's be generic. But still, I mean, it was like I don't it didn't really, for me, it was a lot of fun, but it's difficult. And it was one of those things where it felt like a lot of it had to be pixel perfect timing, and I would do the exact same stuff. Of course, it wasn't the exact same stuff because I'm bad at these games. But to me, it felt like it, and then I'd get hit one time and not another. And you know, there's a few mobs that'll just wombo you into
Yeah.
the ground. But it very much is a kind of Castlevania Souls.
I felt 100% right there with you on everything. Like that's why I didn't complete it, because like it was very hard. Dark Souls 3 was coming out the week after that when this originally released on the PS4, and I was like, do I really want to get upset over this game, or should I just wait till Dark Souls 3, which is going to be like a better experience through and through? And I just waited. I fought this guy. This guy was probably the one boss that gave me the most trouble. Besides, did you get to the dragon? Or
No,
a dragon?
I did not get to the dragon yet. I did like the first 5 bosses, I think.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
then I restarted my game, and then I beat those same 5 bosses again. And at that point, I called it and went and played Fallout 4.
Gotcha. There you go. All right, let's take our break. We'll come back and talk about our discussion of the show, and then maybe a little bit of news. Although there's not really been too much news out there this week, so we'll probably spend a good bit of the second half talking about our discussion, which we'll bring to you guys right after this. So let's take this quick break. We'll come back and go into hour number 2 of Drop Frames, or part number 2 is the best way to say that.
Part 2.
Part 2. We'll be right back. Let's take this break.